Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to show you 6 steps on how to define roles and responsibilities in a team. Roles and responsibilities, these are the foundation for a team working well together. Because honestly, how are you going to do great work if you don't know who's responsible for what and who should be doing what? It's paramount for avoiding confusion, preventing unnecessary conflict or even managing conflict, and of course, increasing efficiency. We all know, we've all been there, those situations where you've wasted so much time. Let's explore those 6 steps in defining roles and responsibilities in your team. Step 1. Define the purpose and goals for your team. I know, I start every single video with this, saying that the first thing you've got to do is have a purpose and define the goal for your team. Now, the reason for this is everything that you do within the team, everything that everyone in the team does is directly related to achieving the goal and achieving the purpose of the team. So once you've figured out what you're doing, you can work out the skills and the expertise needed to make it happen. You can also work out the processes for doing certain tasks, and then through that you will know who can take ownership of this. Now, this step, the purpose and the goals of the team, it's really important for you to involve everyone on the team in creating this, so that there is mutual understanding what expertise and what skill sets are required to achieve the goal. If you don't include the whole team on this, then it's going to be really hard to work through the work packages or the actions that you need to actually achieve the goals later on. Before you jump into roles and responsibilities, the first thing that you need to do is to establish the goals, establish the purpose of the team, and then work out what skills and expertise is needed to bring it to reality. Setting the goal and purpose of the team will then help you to move on to the next step. Number 2, identify the skills and the expertise needed to bring your goals to reality. You can start mapping out who needs to be responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed on each activity. It's important that you consider the strengths and the weaknesses of the team members before assigning them specific roles. Certain strengths and weaknesses to watch out for are seniority. Okay, it's strange because this is not only a strength or a weakness, it's a hierarchical issue, but for certain tasks to happen, then people need to have a level of seniority on those activities. Otherwise, other members of the team might not take them seriously and might put up a lot of resistance. So when thinking about strengths and weaknesses, think about what is needed to bring the goal to a reality from a skills standpoint, but also a cultural and a managerial standpoint. The next step is to actually go into the roles and responsibilities. And I like to do this collaboratively with a team by using a RACI matrix. If you haven't heard of RACI before, RACI is an acronym and it stands for responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed. If you have a team and you have an activity going on, say for instance, sign off on a new product, then you will have people within the organization that need to have a certain level of information about that. And the decisions and the actions that they take are directly related to their roles and responsibilities in achieving the goal outlined. This is why we have the RACI matrix. It allows you to communicate with stakeholders in the appropriate fashion, but it also shows you what level of involvement any given person has for the success or the achievement of a goal. Because it can get messy working out roles and responsibilities. It can get heated. This is why you need everybody on the same page and working together from the outset. Go through that short-term pain so you don't have hiccups later on in terms of time being wasted, there being utter confusion and all of that jazz. Okay, let's get back to it. So we have covered 3 points now. Time for point number 4. Define communication channels. And this goes back to the RACI matrix we were just speaking about. Everyone who has a particular role or responsibility for seeing a goal to fruition will want a different level of communication. So we spoke about high-level communication for those people who need to be informed. They just want to know the milestones or the key results, and I'll link the video to explaining those metrics and the type of reporting that goes into that. So check out the description there. Not only do you need to think about the type of reporting and what level you're going to communicate that information, high-level reporting for people who only need to be informed and only want to know what the general progress is or the general status is for any given project, program, or whatever you're running. And maybe somebody who is responsible for it needs deeper level information. They need to understand the insights, but they also want to see the metric change over time. They want verbatim feedback. They want the whole 9 yards because they're responsible for the goal being achieved. And so when the informed people ask them questions, they need to have a deeper level of understanding and detail to back up any points they say. It can't be vague, it can't be wishy-washy. So communication really needs to reflect that. Also, on this point of communication, we're thinking about the channels. How are you going to communicate these messages? Are you going to do it through an all staff that happens once per month or once per week? Or are you doing it using a regular daily report that gets sent out to everyone? Are you having phone calls, stand-up meetings? Are you having management meetings? Are you doing this through one-to-ones? Do we have a place to store all of these reports and people just get the link sent to them by email? You need to work out the communication channels as well as the cadence, how often you're going to be communicating, as well as the level of communication that people require for this information. Number 5, set clear expectations. Once we've done the roles and responsibilities and we know how we're going to communicate or progress on the things that we are doing, we really need to set clear expectations around the roles and responsibilities for each team member. This is how you stop things from slipping through the cracks or people taking their foot off the pedal. It goes back to performance and measuring that for each individual team member. Each team member needs to have clear, specific goals, responsibilities, and they need to have a way of tracking and showing their performance against those goals. So the team members need to have a way of providing regular feedback to their team and to their manager, and also to receive regular support. So those expectations need to be set up from the outset so that there's no confusion about when things need to be done, and when they're blockers, then you can help people overcome those. Once you set up your roles and responsibilities, you don't leave people high and dry. This is the follow-up to that. Number 6. This goes a bit deeper. This is monitoring the roles and responsibilities. So not only are we monitoring the progress people are making and giving them support when and where and when they need it, but we are also seeing how people are feeling about their roles and responsibilities. You need to understand individual sentiment behind their role. Remember, for people to be satisfied and to be high performing within their roles, it needs to hit certain criteria, meaningful work and work they can actually do, things that they feel like they have the skill set to do. This monitoring and adjusting of roles may mean simplifying some of the tasks people need to do. It may mean finding another means to an end. It may mean reducing some of the workload or swapping roles and responsibilities between team members. It may mean adding additional roles and responsibilities to team members. What I want to get across here is that not because you have just done this activity means that it stops there. Roles and responsibilities are iterative because the environment within which the business operates is constantly changing. And individuals are constantly changing as well, meaning your team is constantly changing. It's important to keep tabs of where people are at and how they feel about their roles, and adjusting them accordingly where it's appropriate. This will help to build a really strong, high-performing team. It also keeps things interesting. And that's it. In conclusion, working out roles and responsibilities is critical for your team to operate as efficiently as possible. There are many ways for doing this, but if you need help on how to build out your roles and responsibilities within your team, give us a shout and we will help you to do that. All the information you need is in the description. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, a big thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel because it really helps it out, and I am not ashamed to ask you to subscribe. So if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.